Hi, it's week 1 of the 2-Minute Tip. I'm Rich Sands. Now this week's tip was all about goal setting as a means of bettering our businesses and maybe even our lives. In the tip, we looked at 7, let's call them sub-tips, to accomplishing anything we want and desire through effective goal setting. As you may or may not know, after every tip, we follow up with an application of that tip, the Tipplication. That's this, where we hope to put it all into perspective and to give the tip a little bit of life in our business or our personal lives or wherever it may apply. Now today we'll be applying yesterday's tips in order to get a handle on this whole goal setting thing. The first thing you want to do is download the worksheet I provided for you, and you can find it at the following link, www.tinyurl.com/tipplication. Now my goal today is to get you to think beyond just a list of haphazard goals. We're going to go through a process that I do and I truly love doing. I perform the big version of this process annually, just like we're doing it today, but tweak it, play with it, revive it, and renew it every month, sometimes weekly, sometimes even daily, according to the individual goal. I'm going to warn you right up front, this is work. If you're wanting to do this in a way that focuses you, gets your business moving in the right direction or your life in the right direction or in a more right direction, it's going to entail some time and some effort. Now generally I break this system down into 2 or 3 sessions, and the first one, the one we're doing now, is the most lengthy. Oftentimes I'll go back and work on individual parts when I'm in the right mood or the right space or have a little more time. The great thing about the way we'll be going through this process together is that you can pause the recording at any time, get some of the work finished, and then jump back into the next section. You get to go at your own pace. So, let's get started.
Downloaded your notes. If you have not at this point, you can go to www.tinyurl.com/tipplication1. Now for the purposes of this tipplication, I'm going to be moving pretty quickly. You, on the other hand, you get to pause whenever you want and move at whatever pace you'd like. So let's get going. First, 2 questions. Typically, what obstacles do you face when setting, planning for, and achieving goals? Now, I'm not trying to be negative, but most of us are patterned kind of people, and certain things tend to hold us back on a regular basis. So I think right up front we have to ask ourselves, what's holding us back in the past? Is it the planning, the execution? Are you trying to do too many things at a time? Do you have too many goals you're juggling? Do you not think you deserve the best things in life? What's holding you back? Jot down some ideas. By the way, the great thing about knowing what's holding you back is knowing is half the battle. I mean, if you know what's holding you back, you can avoid some of those things. The second question I have for you is successes. What times have you set a goal and were completely successful in achieving it? So write down some of those instances, describe what you did, how you did it, and why you did it. The whole idea here is we want to be aware of the obstacles, the things that hold us back, but we want to focus on and mimic our successes. I really like that particular part because occasionally I'll get stuck on my way to a goal, and all I do is I come back to this sheet and I look at a time when I did everything perfectly, and it makes me feel better. So let's get right into goals. On page 2, I've given you this. It's an inventory of your wants, needs, and dreams. And here's what I want you to do with it. I want you to jot down everything you want, need, or desire in your life. Nothing is off limits. Don't even think about how, just write. Now, I tend to break mine into sections. You may not want to. You may want to go grab bag, but I've given you some ideas on some sections. I've also given you a couple of places where you can do whatever you want to do. Just go right. Okay, you're back. You should have a bunch of goals, whether it took you 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 25 minutes. You should have a whole bunch of boxes filled out, and they'll go much further than mine. These are just little rough drafts. Once you have them, we're going to have to do something with them because way too many people stop the goal setting exercise right here. They just have a list, and a list does nothing to inspire me. It does nothing to show me the why or the how. It just shows me the what. It's a whole bunch of whats, and there are way too many whats. Politicians give us whats. Too many realtors sit at our kitchen table and give us whats. We want to go deeper with our goals. So the first thing we're going to do is create a timeline. Estimate when you expect to achieve your goals. And I do it by placing symbols. My goals that I'm going to get within 6 months, I put a lightning bolt next to. My ones that are 6 months to a year get a smiley face. My 1 to 5 years get a heart. And my 5 or more get a clock. So go ahead and do that with each one of your goals. Now, once you're finished, look at your goals and their respective timelines, and you might see a pattern. You might see a whole bunch of lightning bolts or a whole bunch of clocks. Some of us are very short-term oriented. Some of us are long-term oriented. There should be a halfway decent balance. I'm thinking that on a good year, when I'm doing a good job, about 2/3 of my goals fall in the top 2 categories here, from 0 to 1 year. Next, prioritize. We want to pick out at least 5 goals. Eventually, I think you want to do it with all of your goals, but we want to pick out the 5 most important goals on our list. Based on however it is you want to pick them out, it's up to you. But pick out 5. Once we have our 5, we want to rewrite them into sentences and make them goals that are written according to the rules. And here's the rules of a goal. It should be stated in the positive. If I weighed 200 pounds today and wanted to weigh 180, I don't say I want to lose 20 pounds. I say I weigh 180. Rule number 2 is they have to stimulate more than just one of the senses. The more senses you stimulate, the more attached you are to the goal. So I need to have an idea what it feels like to be 180. What is it going to look like when I'm 180? Your goal has to be measurable. Now with weight, it's easy. You get on the scale, you know how you're doing. Your goal has to be something that you have control over. And since I control what I eat, that makes that a good goal. You should also only have goals that you really want. I mean, now is a good time to look back and go, that's not such a big deal. Oh, I don't really want that. There should be things you really want, and each of them should have a why. You should know why you want what you want, because why is the big motivator. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our resources. And first I want to look at self-resources. So in each of the areas, I want to ask myself, okay, what do I bring to the table? What do I have? What are my strengths? What are my skills? What kind of education, characteristics, traits, money, whatever? For any and all of your categories or your goals, make a list of what your personal strengths are. Once you've done that, then I want you to take a look at outside resources. Who are the role models for your goals? If you have a professional goal, maybe there's a realtor who conducts the kind of business that you want to do. If you have a spiritual goal, maybe a pastor, maybe a guru or a yogi or someone like that is the way you would like to be. One of the surest ways to success is to have a model to follow. So we want to list the people who possess what we'd like to have and the traits that we would like to emulate. In step 6, we're going to write our plan. In order to be successful, your goal has to have a plan attached to it, so create a step-by-step draft. Ask yourself questions like, how am I going to get from here to there? What are the necessary actions I have to take, and what other elements are involved in my plan? What do I have to do? What's the process? Last but not least, we want to be accountable. I think in order to be successful, we have to be accountable for our goal achievement. Now, some people are perfectly capable of being accountable to themselves, but others need someone else to keep us on the straight and narrow, and I'm kind of a mix. I can do both. I like keeping myself accountable, but I also like other people helping me. So what is your plan? For each part of your life, you could jot down someone who's going to keep you accountable for the different goals. I know people who have an accountability buddy, and they'll speak with them weekly or monthly or however often they speak, but use the spaces below to determine who your accountability rep, so to speak, might be. Here are the things that I really want you to remember. As we've gone through this process, understand that results are inevitable. No matter what you do, something is going to happen. And if you don't provide your mind with the programming of the results you desire, someone else is going to do it for you. I'm also a firm believer that if you don't have a plan for your life, someone else is going to suck you into theirs. So utilize what you've done in this goal planning exercise, and good luck with it. I love your feedback. Love to hear how it's going for you. You can send me an email at richteaches@gmail.com, or just drop me a note on Facebook, or here on the 2-minute tip page on YouTube. Good luck, keeping in mind that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Thanks.